welcomes a new vice president to their board. Hear what the new VP has to say about her newly appointed position.
We are in the midst of flu season. We'll tell you how to stay healthy.
Poet Richard Blanco paid a visit to Georgia State as part of the March 16 convocation. Those stories and more tonight on Panther Report.
Good evening. I'm Jasmina Alston.
And I'm Jaylah.
The new semester is starting off rather busy for Georgia State University Police. Since the first day of the new year, there have been a total of 51 reported incidents, with underage drinking, theft, and criminal trespassing taking the lead. Thus far, there are 13 reported cases of alcohol possession under 21, 12 cases of theft, and 7 cases of criminal trespassing on GSU property. Other reported charges for 2014 include property damage, lost or mislaid property, terroristic threats, fraudulent schemes, and harassing phone calls. If you are ever in need of GSU Police, please call 404-413-3333.
Georgia State Student Government Association approved Ashley Uzamere to be its new executive vice president. Our own Jaylah Kabidi has more on Uzamere's new role.
The position of Executive Vice President of the Student Government Association at Georgia State had a vacancy this semester. And after many interviews with qualified students, Ashley Uzamere was appointed.
All of the candidates that were interviewing and everyone that was interested in it were all student leaders, so and we all had experience, so any one of us would have been great. But for them to pick me, I'm definitely honored.
Some of the responsibilities that Ashley has as the Executive Vice President are weekly written officer reports on SGA activities, publishing the Senate Journal biannually, and maintaining a minimum of 15 office hours per week.
So I only have really just 2 main goals. You know, there are little things that you want to be done on campus here and there, but my 2 main goals is definitely to support my president, because that's my role, to back him up on anything and to basically make his job easier. And my second goal is to work with the senators and kind of seeing eye to eye, because I think previously and in the past it was more so definitely, it's like a hierarchy. It was very seen, like, you know, VPs, president, or, you know, whatever it was, senators all the way to the bottom. I really want to make sure that the senators, we all work together and they see us just as their peers. Yeah, we may be in a different position, but we're all here for the same common goal. So just coming together and working much, much more closely to get whatever we need done.
For GSTV News, this is Jaylah Kabidi.
On January 7th, the Georgia State chapter of Nonprofit Leadership Alliance received the 2014 Sprint Campus Program Excellence Award at their national conference.
This is the top award,
yes.
Which is really great for us and for Georgia State as well as a whole, to support local nonprofits and knowing that our organization is giving back to the communities. They do different awards for different organizations all over the country, and we submitted a video that our e-board worked on, and the award we won was the 2014 Best Organization, I'm pretty sure, like Best Organization in the country, and it's awesome. It's a real, knowing our e-board and the people that have worked so hard to put NLA together and make it successful.
The GSU chapter has had great growth from 3 to 180 members since 2008 and accepts students of all degree types.
Flu season has hit the southern part of the country particularly hard this winter, and with students returning to a crowded campus, taking measures to prevent the spread of the flu becomes much more important. Reporter Victor Williams has more.
It's that time of the year again. The flu season is once again upon us, but for some strange reason, this year the flu seems to be way more hard-hitting. So I talked to a few professionals and a few students to see why the flu is stronger this year.
I actually really don't know much about the flu. I know one guy in my class who had the flu, and that's like it. He was like the only one.
I spoke with Sharon Rabinovitz, the medical director at the GSU Student Healthcare Center. She told me that one of the main reasons why the flu seems to be stronger this year is because of a stronger flu strand, the H1N1 flu virus.
Luckily, the flu shot that we have is covering the H1N1, so if you get your flu shot, it will help you prevent getting the H1N1. There is the H3 and there is the influenza B, and there are some other subtypes that we're still looking into, but it will definitely decrease your risks of contracting the H1N1 if you get your flu shot.
Overall, around campus, I don't see too many sick people, so I think it's good, yeah.
Make sure you use a lot of hand sanitizer because the flu virus is very, very contagious. And also make sure you stay bundled up. And remember that here at the GSU Student Health Center, they are having flu shots and flu vaccines for students. Thank you very much. Signing off, Victor Williams, GSTV.
A newly proposed gun legislation could directly affect college students. The proposed gun legislation focuses on where in Georgia one is able to carry a gun, and college campuses is one of the places in question. An even bigger question asks who then will make the final call on guns on campuses, the state or the college? Representative Rick Jaspers, who is the bill's sponsor, told WSB Radio that he does support carry permit holders to have guns on campus, but believes that state lawmakers should make the decision to allow or not to allow this, rather than letting college presidents decide. Jaspers went on to mention that the final bill is expected on Friday.
Coming up on Panther Report, our interview with distinguished speaker and the Martin Luther King Convocation presenter, Richard Blanco. And did you make any New Year's resolutions? We'll hear the psychology behind keeping those goals.
Presenting your Georgia Power Energy Efficiency Team. Helping you save money and energy around your dorm and apartment, one easy tip at a time. Laundry do's and don'ts.
Wash your clothes a full load at a time in warm or cold water.
Intercultural Relations initiated the 10th annual MLK series on January 15th. The week-long series was created in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and the events were focused around social justice and civil rights. It began with Feed Your Senses, a dance tribute, and ended with the Panther Prowl hosted by Spotlight Programs Boards. They also presented Georgia State University's 31st Martin Luther King Jr. Convocation. Our own Marquise Jackson sat down with Blanco to discuss social justice and his experience at last year's presidential inauguration.
What does Martin Luther King's fight for social justice and human rights mean to you?
Well, you know, it's interesting is in preparing for tonight's notes, I mean, it's something that I've always sort of thought about, but not really thought about as deeply as I've had for tonight. And you know, being a Cuban little fat gay kid from Miami, what does that have to do, you know? But I realize that it's always touched my heart, you know, and it's been around in my heart and in my consciousness since I was a kid. And even in the inaugural poem, there's a direct reference to the King. So what I think it means to me and what I'm discovering is that it's timeless. The legacy is timeless and universal, that it's cross-cultural, cross-racial, cross-gender, cross-sexuality, cross everything. That the message of social justice and equality is really one that just lives on, because every generation has new struggles and every generation has new dreams, and I think that's the power of what Dr. King started.
So with that in mind, have you ever experienced or faced any social injustice yourself?
Well, you know, not directly in the sense of, and this is why I grew up in a very sort of undiverse community. Everybody was Cuban, and so if anything, the kids in my classroom that were American, white Americans, were the ones that sort of got a little more bullied because they had strange last names and stuff like that. But I always remember understood, like, sort of whether I was an object of that or not, just understanding at a very young age this idea of that negotiation, like, well, why should that kid get picked on? And so I've experienced it indirectly. Luckily, as growing up, no. There is, however, a sense of always being the other, though, because once you left that little cocoon of Miami and growing up in that small community, there was always this sense of the other that I really hadn't really captured to my adult life until the inauguration. This idea that there was always this little part of me that felt that that I wasn't quite American, whatever that meant. I was America with some other little boy or some other person that had other advantages or had a different narrative to their lives. And in that sense, I've had to think about my life in that sense, in terms of not quite feeling equal. But luckily, knock on wood, it certainly hasn't been as I haven't been a victim of social injustice, I would say, as many others have been. But I can certainly empathize and understand that sense of not really feeling that one can't fulfill their full potential, which is ultimately what I think sort of social justice is about. It's just giving everybody sort of the opportunity to reach their full potential.
Wonderful. Well, we want to thank you for your time to speak with us at Georgia State's Panther Report, and look forward to hearing you speak later today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Two of Georgia State's own recently traveled to the nation's capital to appear at the White House. Both President Mark Becker and Dean Michael Erickson made the trip, but for entirely different reasons. President Becker was invited to speak to President Barack Obama on his plans to increase success levels for its low-income students. Becker's response included a new GSU system called Early Alert, which will help seek out students' financial problems before they become too major and cause the student to drop out. Dean Erickson attended the release of the 50th anniversary Surgeon General's report after GSU's School of Public Health received the university's largest grant for research on the harms of tobacco.
The Honors College will be hosting the annual Georgia State College Research Conference on April 10th in the University Center. The conference gives students the opportunity to submit research proposals to students, faculty, and staff, while also gaining conference experience. Students are encouraged to attend a lunch and learn on January 30th at the Honors College for more information. Proposals are due by February 14th.
As February approaches, many of those New Year's resolutions may have been broken already. But reporter Emmeline Lubo has more from the psychology perspective of setting and keeping those start-of-the-year goals.
January 1st marks the first day of the year. And for many people, it means a new beginning and a fresh start. With this fresh start comes resolutions. Let's see what Georgia State students decided to do.
I was just going to be a little more prepared and a little more organized, but I started doing that towards the end of last year to kind of go ahead and get set in the habit.
I think my New Year's resolution would be to take more opportunities and really prioritize the opportunities I'm handed so I don't miss something.
If you get real detailed, then you're bound to fail at some point. So if you just I'm gonna succeed. What I'm gonna succeed at, I don't know, but I'm gonna succeed.
I think that getting more detailed and making more specific things about what you're gonna do specifically and how you're gonna do it, I think that helps you to stick more to your goal.
I sat and spoke with Alyssa Ames, clinical psychology graduate student here at Georgia State, to get her opinion on this tradition. Alyssa also mentioned that the counseling department here at Georgia State offers free services to help those who may need assistance with managing goals or other personal needs.
I think starting small is kind of the best option for just general resolutions, not necessarily a New Year's, because if you can do something small, you kind of build up your confidence in being able to do something bigger. Because it seems very daunting when you say, like, okay, I'm going to exercise every single day. It's going to improve my mood. It's going to improve my physique. But if you tell yourself, like, I'll get up early once a week and maybe I'll do some yoga, that's a lot more manageable. When you actually do it, you feel good and you might be able to kind of push it forward.
Looks like we're off to a great start at Georgia State. I'm Emmeline Lubo, reporting with GSTV.
Sports with Neha Ali is coming up next on Panther Report.
Presenting your Georgia Power Energy Efficiency Team. Helping you save money and energy around your dorm and apartment, one easy tip at a time.
Laundry do's and don'ts. Don't use too much detergent. Rinse in cold water.
Tied for the longest winning streak in Panther history, head coach Ron Hunter's men's basketball team hasn't lost a game since December 7th. GSU has won 11 straight games and 6 straight away games, while remaining first in the Sun Belt Conference with a 7-0 record. They knocked down University of Louisiana Monroe 66-58 with 4 players scoring double figures. Will they pass the school's 11-game record? Find out when the Panthers face South Alabama Thursday at 7 p.m. in the GSU Sports Arena. The men aren't the only ones on a winning streak. Women's basketball also beat Louisiana Monroe 77-66, bringing in their 4th straight win. In Saturday's game, the Panthers bench scored 30 of the total points. Senior guard Kendra Long led the team with 21 points. The Lady Panthers are 5-2 in the conference. They return to the GSU Sports Arena tonight at 7 p.m. Women's tennis began spring season play with a 4-3 win against Troy this weekend. Chima Rudami's win clinched the match for the team. They face Mercer today at Piedmont Park. Team USA released their opening ceremony uniforms, which received mixed emotions by people all over social media. Tweet at Panther Report and let us know your thoughts about the uniforms. Don't forget to tune in on February 6th on NBC for the 2014 Winter Olympics opening ceremony. Tune in again next week to see who will appear in Athlete of the Week. This has been your GSTV Sports Update. I'm Neha Ali.
Thank you for watching this edition of Panther Report. Please visit us online for stories not featured in tonight's broadcast and breaking news updates.
Follow us on Twitter at Panther_Report and like Panther Report on Facebook. I'm Jasmina Alston.
And I'm Jaylah. Have a good evening.